everyone, this is Archive of 12, and today we have a new Divide music song that I have been very, very excited to listen to. This is his Perfect Cell song, or it just says Cell, so it might not just be Perfect Cell. It could be imperfect and semi-perfect as well. I'm not sure, but this is his Cell song, Perfection, featuring FabvL. The last time that we had Divide and FabvL on a DBZ song, I'm fairly certain it was his Frieza song. I could be wrong about that. He's done a few of them since then, but I feel like it was his Frieza song, which is one of his best. And before that, it was the Beerus song, which again is one of his best. So FabvL and Divide know what they're doing when it comes to DBZ, so I am very much looking forward to this. I've heard a snippet, just the very beginning of this song over on Twitter, and can I just say, this is going to absolutely destroy you if the rest of the song goes as hard as the beginning did. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop talking. Link will be in the description below if you want to listen to this without my commentary, because I will pause and I will comment about it. And, yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Turn that up. Listen to that intro. Hang on. Is this in HD? It says it's in HD. Okay, guess so. It just looked a little pixelated. Okay, first impressions. With the screaming backing vocals and the screaming vocals coming in as sort of like a secondary emphasis, this reminds me of two Divide songs specifically. It reminds me of Into the Dark a little bit, because that was the first time I ever heard Divide scream. And it reminds me of his first Broly song, because he did this a lot in the first Broly song. However, his vocal performance has increased so much since then, since both of those songs. It's been several years since those songs. And the instrumental is so crisp and so powerful. Like, Perfection is probably the best name that you could have given this song. Ooh. Damn. Welcome to the end. Stage is set and all that's left is first to will descend. Your weakness is your only friend. No, you can't be serious. Say it to my face and you'll be conscious. So you have experience. I was born in a waste of everything they trust. So what did it take me for? Harbinger of death once more. I like how he did that. I liked how he did that. I liked how, like, I was going to say I didn't like how short the second verse was, but what he did was he brought the pre-chorus from the first verse back in, or the first part of the song rather, back in, and then extended it with an additional section that made it feel the same but different, and allowed it to flow from the verse to the pre-chorus into the chorus with just enough variation to make it like tickle that side of my brain that makes me want like variation. Because I was gonna say, like, I was a little disappointed that the second verse didn't last longer, but then he corrected it by adding a little extra to the pre-chorus, and I'm like, that was genius. Ooh. And then he added more to this part, which I imagine was supposed to be the chorus. He added more to it, and it, again, so effortlessly. I will say, where is FabvL? Is he gonna pop in here in a second? Featured vocal. Okay, so he is eventually. So I'm curious to see what FabvL's going to do. This sounds like a FabvL. This sounds like a FabvL section. I don't think I've heard FabvL go that hard in a long time. Now, FabvL's screaming vocals normally make my throat hurt, but that was another level. Like, I feel like if that was any normal person, they'd be coughing up blood right now. I mean, FabvL is nigh indestructible at this point. I feel like his vocal cords are like Saiyans. He just like freaking leveled up every single time, and now he can withstand almost anything. But if a normal person tried that, they'd probably be coughing up blood at this point. Okay. Thoughts. I like the feeling. I like the tone of this song, like, invoked. I feel like, compared to the Frieza song, it is I don't want to say it's a step down, because it's not. It is side by side with the Frieza song with how good, like, everything is. I will say, however, the Frieza song has an edge because A, FabvL was on it a little bit longer, and B, that one feels... They're different songs, so it's difficult for me to say that, like, it feels different without really explaining what I mean by that. This one was more of a trying to think. There's a specific way I want to describe this, and I just want to make sure that I'm saying it right so it doesn't sound like I'm downplaying the song, because I'm not. The song has, this song, Perfection, has a more like anthemish vibe to it. This sounds more like a song that you would definitely attribute to a character like Cell, who is like ego incarnate. And I think this is one reason why I actually don't like Cell very much. I'm a bit of a blasphemer when it comes to DBZ, but of the three main primary villains, Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu, I'd have to say that Cell's my least favorite of the three. I'm not saying that necessarily that he's a bad character. It's just more of, I don't feel like he's a good villain, because his entire point was to test his mettle in battle, and if he won, he blew up the earth. And it was kind of like a weak motivation for the character. So anything attributed to Cell is going to be more focused on like kind of like this song. It's going to be more focused on his not his character arc. It's going to be focused on the character itself. Because of the fact that, like, when you start looking at Cell from like the story perspective, Cell he starts off as like a horror movie monster, which is great, and then he turns into, like, in my opinion, the lamest motivated villain out of the three. Some might say that belongs to Majin Buu, because he's just like, he just wants to destroy everything, but like, Majin Buu was created to destroy everything. He's a weapon. Cell is more than a weapon, but he doesn't really live up to that potential. So it's one thing that I was kind of hoping Dragon Ball Super was going to expand on, is like they gave Frieza a lot of limelight, but I was kind of hoping they were going to give Cell like an extra bit of motivation. That being said, talking about the song perfectly encapsulates how Cell's character could have progressed to become the greatest villain in Dragon Ball Z. I feel like he's overshadowed just because of his character arc, but like the song itself manages to perfectly capture what I wanted to feel when I watched Cell on screen. Like this, what Divide and FabvL managed to craft here is what I wanted to feel when I watched Perfect Cell in the Cell Saga. I just feel like the story of Cell is weaker than this song. And this song definitely helps elevate Cell as a character. And it kind of elevates his story a little bit. So I'm very thankful for that. Because, again, not in any way, shape, or form trying to diss what Divide and FabvL did, because they knocked this out of the park. But I think that's one reason why I like the Frieza song just a little bit more, is because of the fact that Frieza has motivation. Frieza has a character motivation that is easily translatable into a song. It may not necessarily be anything more than a cliche motivation. He just wants to conquer the galaxy or destroy it, but it is still motivation. Whereas Cell, after he gains his perfect form, he just wants to test his mettle, which is very much Saiyan-like. And then after that, like, what would he have done if he won? I think is the point that I'm trying to make. So I'm really glad that Divide and FabvL focused on pretty much the character's personality rather than the character arc, because the character's personality has so much potential. Cell has so much potential. I just feel like his story kind of loses everything like later on. And if they had decided to write about the story itself and not have it inspired by the character's personality, but the character's story, I feel like the song may have hit a few low notes for me. Fortunately, that's not the case. And this was a massive tangent and a psychological character breakdown that I was not expecting to get into. But unfortunately, yeah, it's Perfect Cell, just not my cup of tea when it comes to like character stories. Like character personalities, yeah, I love him. But like character stories, he should have gotten better. He should have gotten a lot better. So I'm glad that FabvL and Divide were able to give him his due. In terms of like the instrumental, in terms of the vocal performance, the screams, the epicness everything was indeed perfect. And for that, I can't fault Divide or FabvL for anything because there was nothing to fault. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you for joining me. I am ArcAlpha12, and I will see you in the next video.